Welcome back to today. We're diving deep into the history and details of a coin that many of us have held in our hands at some point, the 1984 USA 1 cent coin, also known as the Lincoln Memorial penny. What makes this coin special? What stories does it tell about its era? Let's find out. Let's start with the design. The obverse, or the front side, of the 1984 1 cent coin features the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. It was created by Victor David Brenner, a renowned sculptor and medalist. If you look closely, you'll see his initials, VDB, on the lower part of Lincoln's bust. On the reverse side, we have the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of unity and democracy. If you grab a magnifying glass, you can even see Lincoln's statue seated inside the memorial, a tiny detail that often goes unnoticed. This design was introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. 1909 to today is a short time to just be in the mirror of the Lincoln property and then try to look beautiful and try and look telling. 1982 pennies were primarily made of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. But in 1982, the U.S. Mint made a significant change to save costs. Pennies were switched to a core of 99.2% zinc with a thin copper plating, weighing just 2.5 grams instead of the previous 3.1 grams. The 1984 penny continued with this newer composition. Now, let's talk about mintage. The U.S. Mint produced over 8 billion 1984 pennies. Yes, billion. That includes around 7.7 billion from the Philadelphia Mint and 1.5 billion from the Denver Mint. Philadelphia pennies can be identified by the absence of a mint mark, while Denver pennies have a small d beneath the date of their construction, since an engineer failed to find the variety's requirement at the materials distributing site. The 1984 penny is famous for its doubled die obverse variety. In this era, parts of the text on the coin, especially Liberty and In God We Trust, appeared doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. This variety is highly sought after, with some coins fetching hundreds of dollars depending on their condition and the severity of the doubling. If you have a 1984 penny, it might be worth examining closely. Who knows? You could be holding a treasure. In 1984, pennies were still an essential part of daily transactions. Whether in vending machines, parking meters, or cash registers, the 1 cent coin played a crucial role in the economy. It was a time when every penny counted, literally. Think about it. Every penny minted in 1984 has been on a journey. It could have been in someone's pocket when they watched Michael Jackson moonwalk at the Grammy Awards. Or maybe it bought a soda during the Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. These coins carry not just monetary value, but a piece of history. So, what's a 1984 penny worth today? For most circulating coins, their value remains at face value. 1 cent. However, uncirculated coins or those with rare errors, like the doubled die obverse, can be worth significantly more. A high-grade 1984 penny with no blemishes can fetch $2, $5, while error coins have sold for up to $200 or more. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that pennies were often placed on train tracks by kids to create keepsakes? Although not recommended for safety reasons, it's a testament to how deeply ingrained these coins are in American culture. The 1984 penny might seem like just another coin, but when you take a closer look, it's a window. 1976 USA 1 cent coin, commonly known as the Lincoln penny. Let's explore its history, design, and its role during an important period in American coinage. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first American coin to feature a president's portrait, which marked a major shift in U.S. coinage design. By 1976, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for nearly 7 decades and remained a staple in everyday transactions. Let's talk about the design. The obverse, or front side, features Lincoln's portrait. Underneath, you'll see the minting year, 1976, and the phrase, "In God We Trust." The designer's initials, VDB, are subtly placed under Lincoln's shoulder. On the reverse, we find the image of the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the original wheat ears design in 1959 to honor Lincoln's 150th birth anniversary. If you look closely, you can even spot a tiny depiction of Lincoln seated in the memorial, an incredible detail for a coin of its size. Now, about its composition. The 1976 penny was made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, a standard that had been in place since 1962. As copper cents, as opposed to the zinc-based pennies that came later in 1982 to 1976, was a monumental year for the United States. It was the bicentennial, marking 200 years since the Declaration of Independence. While the Lincoln penny didn't have a special bicentennial design like the quarter, half dollar, or dollar, it was still a significant part of everyday life during this patriotic era. This high production volume shows how essential the penny was for commerce in 1976, even as inflation was increasing its cost of production. In the mid-1970s, the penny was still a workhorse in the American economy. You could buy a gumball, make exact change for bus fares, or collect them in coin jars. In 1976, these pennies were a symbol of affordability and thrift. However, even by 1976, the penny's buying power was starting to dwindle due to inflation. What cost 1 cent in 1976 would cost about 5 cents today. So, are 1976 pennies worth anything today? If you're holding on to one, its value in circulated condition is still just 1 cent, its face value. However, for collectors, pennies in uncirculated condition or with unique errors can fetch higher prices, sometimes up to $5, $10, depending on the condition and rarity. Proof pennies from the San Francisco Mint are especially sought after. These coins, struck with extra care, have a beautiful mirror-like finish. Before we wrap up, here are a few fun facts about the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny is the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. In total, over 288 billion Lincoln pennies have been minted since 1909. If you stacked all the pennies ever minted, the pile would reach the moon and back multiple times. The 1981 USA 1-cent coin, how much is it worth in circulated condition? Are there rare versions to watch for? Let's find out. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. By 1981, it had already become one of the most recognizable coins in American history. The coin's design features Lincoln's bust on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, created by Frank Gasparo. But what sets the 1981 penny apart? It was one of the last years these coins were struck with a 95% copper composition before the switch to zinc cores in 1982. This makes it a unique coin in the series. Here's a fun fact. Philadelphia produced a whopping 7.5 billion pennies in 1981, while Denver struck around 5.3 billion. The proof coins from San Francisco? Those were only made for collectors. So, what's the circulated value of a 1981 penny today? Because it's made of copper, the intrinsic value is tied to the metal's price. Each 1981 penny contains about 2.5 grams of copper. With copper prices averaging around $4 per pound, the melt value of the coin is roughly 2 to 3 cents, more than its face value. But hold on, melting pennies for metal is illegal in the U.S. As for numismatic value, circulated 1981 pennies are generally worth face value unless they're in exceptional condition. Now, this is where things get interesting. Certain error coins from 1981 can fetch a premium. Look for doubling on Lincoln's profile or the date coins with part of the design missing are rare and valuable. These can also increase value among collectors. These errors can range from a few dollars to hundreds, depending on their rarity and condition. Always check your pocket change carefully. Here are some tips for spotting valuable 1981 pennies. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to inspect the coin. Check for mint marks. Proof coins with the JIS mint mark can be worth more. Keep your coins clean and store them in protective holders to preserve their condition. And remember, condition matters. Even a minor scratch can lower a coin's value significantly. To sum it up, the 1981 Lincoln cent is an iconic piece of American history. While circulated coins are typically worth their face value, rare errors and high-quality examples can be worth much more. So, check your change and keep an eye out for hidden treasures. The 1994 USA 1-cent coin, famously known as the Lincoln penny. Whether you're a collector or just coin curious, this video has all the details you need about its history, design, and value. So, let's uncover the hidden story of this humble coin. The Lincoln penny has been a staple in American pockets since 1909, when it was introduced to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, made history as the first U.S. coin to feature a president. Fast forward to 1994, and we see the same iconic design, but with subtle updates. The 1994 Lincoln penny showcases a timely design. On the obverse, we have Abraham Lincoln's profile facing right with the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust surrounding him. The year 1994 is struck just below. Flip it over to the reverse and you'll find the Lincoln Memorial flanked by the words United States of America and the denomination 1 cent. You can even spot Lincoln's statue in the center of the memorial, a detail many people miss. These coins were struck in large numbers, over 6.5 billion combined. This makes the 1994 penny a common coin for everyday use, but its high mintage also makes uncirculated and uncensored and no longer in transit brings stars to more people. It's like this precious memory going over to a pure and woven pattern. Great examples more appealing to collectors. See neither reed nor penny. After a recent boom in consumption of pennies, the Lincoln penny has been made of a zinc core coated with copper. The 1994 penny is no different. This change was introduced to cut costs as copper became too expensive for mass production. The result? A lighter coin weighing just 2.5 grams, with a shiny coffee currency that wears down over time. In the 1990s, the Lincoln penny was the workhorse of American currency. The 1994 penny saw heavy circulation in everyday transactions, whether it was making exact change, paying for a morning coffee, or ending up in piggy banks across the country. Because of this, finding one in pristine condition is relatively rare, as most were used until they became worn. So how much is a 1994 penny worth today? In circulated condition, it's typically worth its face value, 1 cent. However, uncirculated examples, or those graded by professionals, can fetch between 10 cents and $1.50, depending on the grade. Rare errors, like off-center strikes or doubled dies, can sell for much more, sometimes over $100. So, it's always worth inspecting your coins carefully. Here are some quick fun facts about the Lincoln penny. It's the longest-running design in U.S. coin history, over 500 billion Lincoln pennies. Today, we're diving into the story of the 2007 USA 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln cent. Let's uncover its history, design features, and value in today's market. The Lincoln cent has a rich history dating back to 1909, when it was first introduced to honor Abraham Lincoln on his 100th birthday. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait. Fast forwarded 27, and we find the Lincoln cent continuing its legacy as one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States. The 2007 Lincoln cent maintained the classic design we've all come to recognize. The obverse, or front, features a right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Above him, we see the word Liberty, and the year 2007 is engraved to the right. The motto, "In God We Trust," arcs along the top. On the reverse side, we have the iconic image of the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro. Look closely, and you'll even spot a tiny statue of Lincoln in the center of the memorial, an incredible detail that many don't notice. In 2007, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents. Let's break it down. The Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 3.63 billion coins without a mint mark. These numbers highlight even today, the 2007 Lincoln cent is part of the post-1982 series, meaning it's made of a copper-plated zinc composition. Each coin is about 97.5% zinc with a thin 2.5% copper plating. This change from the original 95% copper composition was introduced to reduce production costs. Despite the material shift, the coin retains its familiar appearance and durability. Because of its high mintage, the 2007 Lincoln cent is not rare. In circulated condition, its value is typically 1 cent, but in uncirculated or mint state condition, it can be worth a bit more. For example, a 2007 Lincoln cent in mint state, definitely worth more than it priorly had in mint state condition, might fetch around 25 to 50 cents from collectors. Special error coins, such as those with double die strikes or off-center errors, can be worth significantly more, sometimes fetching up to $50 or more, depending on the error. Here are some fun facts about the 2007 Lincoln cent. The Lincoln cent is one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. If you stacked all the 2007 pennies ever minted, the stack would reach to the moon and back multiple times. Despite its low face value, the penny costs slightly more than 1 cent to produce and around 1.7 cents per coin in 2007. And there you have it. The 2007 Lincoln cent is a humble yet fascinating piece of American coinage with a rich history and enduring legacy. Do you have any 2007 pennies in your collection? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow coin enthusiasts, and subscribe for more exciting coin stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.